the worksheet from Friday, which has the 8 problems. I want you to write this on your paper, the worksheet. Number 1, you will not have to do any synthetic division, so no synthetic division. Number 2, no synthetic division. Number 3, yes, you will have some. Number 4, yes, you will have some. Number 5, no synthetic division. Number 6, yes, you will have some. Number 7, I did for you in class on Friday, correct? Number 8, synthetic division will be required. Now, I'm going to teach you today how you need to go about this. I'm going to do number 3. So if we do number 3, the first thing we have to do is what? P over Q. Now I'm going to leave a little bit of space here. Actually, no, I'm not. I would if I'd be you. I'd leave a little bit of space on your paper so that you can do your P over Q right there. Your Descartes. I'll leave space for you guys too. P is what value? Your 1, it's your constant. And Q would be your leading coefficient. So what are all the factors of 1? Plus or minus 1. What are all the factors of 3? Plus or minus 1, plus or minus 3. Do we understand that, yes or no? I want everyone to stay with me today. I want nobody working independently. I want you to do what I'm asking you to do because this is what the test looks like. If you don't listen to me today and you do work independently and you mess up the test, that is your own fault. So now, I need to know all of my P over Q values. So what are they?
Plus or minus 1.
I have 1 divided by 1 is 1. 1 divided by 3 is 1/3. So these are all my P over Q values. So whenever I graph this thing, what is my window that I should be looking for? Why negative 2 to 2? My smallest number is negative 1. My largest number is positive 1. So I want to be able to see those roots, so I need to go 1 unit larger than them. Does that make sense? Okay, if I can see them already, do I have to change my window? No. So if I can see my roots exactly where they're at, don't make more work for yourself. Leave it alone. Any questions? That's P over Q. So what's the next thing I need to do? I need to do Descartes. So part B is Descartes. So I'm talking about my positive roots. So how do I do my positive roots? I count the change in signs in my original problem. So I go from positive to negative. There's 1. Negative to negative? No. How about negative to positive? There's 2. So that tells me that n is 2, which tells me what? I'm going to have 2 positive roots, or n minus 2, which will be 0. Do we understand why I have 0? Is everyone with me, yay or nay? Excellent. My negative roots. How do I go about finding my negative roots? I have to do f at negative x, right? So if I have to do f at negative x, every place I see an x, I would actually plug in negative x. But our brains know that. So I'm going to take the shortcut. Which powers change? Only the odd powers. So 3x to the 4th stays. Negative x cubed changes to positive. Negative 3x changes to positive 3x. And plus 1 stays as plus 1 because there's no x to it. Do we all understand that, yes or no? Now I'm going to count my sign changes. Positive to a positive, none. Positive, positive, no. Positive, positive, no. So do I have any sign changes? So how many negative roots do I have? I have 0. So now after I do this, what do I make? You make your sign chart. So I'm going to come over here and do positive, negative, imaginary, and total. How do I get my total number of roots? I go up to my highest exponent on my original function. And what is my highest exponent? It is a 4. So the highest exponent is 4, so that means my grand total has to be 4 every time. Correct? So how many positive roots can I have? I can have 2 or I can have 0. How many negative roots can I have? 0 every time, so I have 0 and 0. So if I have to have a total of 4, how many are left to be imaginary on the first one? 2. And how many are left to be imaginary on the second one? 4. Well, let's think about that a moment, folks. What does the graph look like whenever you have 4 imaginary roots? It never crosses the x-axis. And folks, can you do that problem if I've not given you a root? No. So let's go over and let's do part C. Part C says to graph it. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to graph this thing. Okay, so I want a new document and I want a graphs page. And this is problem number 3, which is going to be 3x to the 4th. Thank you, guys. 3x to the 4th minus x cubed minus 3x plus 1. There it is. What do I see? I can see 2 roots. So do I have to change back to the window? No, because if I go back to my lovely little option here, and I go back to my chart, which does it have to be? It has to be the first option, which means my second one does nothing for me, right? We all understand that, okay? So I go back over here, and I'm simply going to go, and I'm going to do menu, and then what? Analyze, and I'm just going to skip the graph, trace crap. I'm going to go straight to what I know, which is what? 0, left bound, right bound. There's my first 0. Menu, analyze, 0, left bound, right bound, and negative 0.333. What is that? It is 1/3. Guys, what I want you to do after you do that is go back to your P over Q values. Are those numbers in your P over Q list? Are they? They absolutely are. Because whenever I graph this thing, I'm looking for how many roots. I'm looking for 4 roots. I found one of them, which is 1. And what's my second one? 0.33333, which is 1/3. What I don't know is root 3 or root 4. Do we understand that? Yes or no? Everybody with me? Don't get how I did that? Go back to your calculator. And I want you to do menu, analyze, 0. Left bound, right bound. What you want to do is you want to find the zeros in all of that. Like, so you did it already. Analyze, 0. Go to the left of that one. Go to the right of it. You got it every graph right. It's supposed to be +1, not -1. That will change. Okay, what Caleb just did. Okay, whenever I tried to help him just now, you know what he did wrong? He did not type in the correct graph. He was very, very close, but he was off by 1 sign. So if you don't type it in correctly, you're going to be wrong also. So you can be very careful on that. Do we all understand what I just did? Okay? All right. Now that we know what 2 of our zeros are, that tells me that my other 2 are what? Imaginary. How can we find imaginary roots? No. How can we find imaginary roots? Not by synthetic. Quadratic formula. Okay? So you know you have to use the quadratic formula, don't you? Because I know I have 2 real roots and 2 imaginary. Does everybody understand that? Yes or no? So what we have to do is we have to get this degree 4 down to a degree 2. Why do I want it down to degree 2? Because I can only use the quadratic formula on what degree? Degree 2. So now, here's part B. Now folks, part B is the part where you're going to have to do the synthetic division. Before I start my synthetic division, I'm going to look for any missing what? Any missing variables of powers, right? So this one right here is 3x to the 4th minus x cubed. I'm missing my 0, x squared, so I insert that, plus 1. Do you have to write that down? You wouldn't have to, but ask Francis. 3rd period, did I almost miss my 0? Yes, Francis, I almost missed my 0. Thanks. Okay? So now, I have my information, and now I need to do synthetic division. So I'm going to bring down the 3, -1, 0, -3, and 1. On number 3, you do. Remember whenever I just went through, I told you to write down which one you had to do.
We're still on.
We're still on number 3.
Alright, you get to do.
We do have.
1, 2, 5.
Okay. So now, what number goes in this box? Why 1? Because that's one of the roots that we found graphically. So I put a 1 there, and I drop down the 3. You write this down.
No.
Why?
We're going to give it enough watch video.
Write it down so at least you have it. Bring down the 3. So 3 times 1 is 3. -1 and 3 is 2 times 1 is 2 plus 0. 2, 2 times 1, 2 and -3 is -1. -1 times 1 is -1 to give me 0. Is that what I want it to be? Why? Because it's a factor, because it's a 0, because it's a root, because it's a solution, because it's an answer, right? Because it's an x-intercept, yes? Okay, so now I can do synthetic division again at 1/3 on what's remaining. I drop down the 3. 3 times 1/3 is 1. 2 and 1 give me 3. 3 times 1/3. 2 and 1 give me 3. 3 times 1/3. 1 to give me 0. Is that what I wanted? Okay. Now, back the train up a minute. The green. When I did synthetic division at 1, what degree did this drop it? It dropped it to degree 3. Then I did synthetic division again, and now what degree is it? Degree 2. Is that the degree that I need it to be at? Oh, yes, it is. So now, can anybody tell me what my equation is up there? 3x squared plus 3x plus 3 is equal to 0. Why am I putting that equal to 0? Because I want to solve it, right? I can. That's what we're going to do. But do I want to choose A, B, and C to be 3, 3, and 3?
Super duper.
Super duper no, because they all have a common denominator, or a common factor of what here? 3. So divide each of them by 3. So that gives you x squared plus x plus 1 is equal to 0. Now can I use smaller numbers for my A, B, and C?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guess, and it makes it easier to plug and chug. So now what's A? 1. What's B? What's C? And what's my quadratic formula?
X equals -2 minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2.
David, can I just say, honey, you absolutely made my day just now. You absolutely made my day. That is not embarrassing. That was wonderful. Thank you for singing the quadratic formula series. I loved it. Okay, so I plug in what I know. -1 plus or minus 1 squared minus 4 times 1 times 1 over 2 times 1.
Yeah, come on.
That just made my day. Like, I've had a terrible day. And I think this is the first real smile I've had all day. So thank you, David. That was awesome. Okay. So -1 plus or minus 1 minus 4 over 2. What is 1 minus 4? -3. And guess what? We know all about imaginary numbers now, don't we? So what is the square root of -3? I square root of 3, very good. -1 plus or minus I square root of 3 over 2. So now, what have I located? I have located my root 3, which is going to be -1 plus I square root of 3 over 2. And then I also located my root 4, which is -1 minus I square root of 3 over 2. What can you tell me about these two numbers? They're complex conjugates. A conjugate, if I have A plus BI, what's the conjugate?
Oh, you know that one.
A minus BI, which means if I have A plus BI, I have to have A minus BI. They go hand in hand with one another. And the very last part that you have to do now the very last part is going to be writing this thing in its factored form. So, it's factored form. All of these root 1, root 2, root 3, root 4, that's the same thing as x equals, right? Right? So x is equal to 1, x is equal to 1/3, x is equal to -1/2 plus I square root of 3 over 2, and x is equal to -1/2 minus I square root of 3 over 2. You see how I yanked it apart? See how I yanked it apart there? X minus 1, x minus 1/3, x plus 1/2 minus I square root of 3 over 2, x plus 1/2 minus I square root of 3 over 2, plus I square root of 3 over 2. Yes? And put parentheses around all of this, because that's what you're going to smash together by multiplication. Ta-da! Factors form. That is absolutely gorgeous.
The ending is ugly, but otherwise, I really like how we had to write a lot of numbers. I like numbers. I like some.
Okay. Now, it takes up a whole page, but guess what, guys? I can give you any polynomial and you guys can factor now. Yes, you can. No, it doesn't matter. You could. Descartes helps you out and confirms what you know. P over Q helps you out and confirms what you know.
Is that pretty much the same thing as what we read there?
Okay. This is exactly what you heard.
Oh, numbers never force.
Okay. Now, we are going to do the next worksheet. We got 12 minutes, so let's do one off of it. Are we listening? You have 4 problems off of this worksheet. We are going to do problem number 4. You guys are going to hate me, but we're going to get started together. Quiet, please. Okay. Step one. You ready? Step one is what? P over Q. What's P? What's Q? I'm going to repeat this now before we even start it. You will not have one on the test this mean. I'm giving it to you in class. I'm doing it with you so that this is as ugly as it gets. Okay? I'm prefacing that before we start. What are all the factors of 80? 1. How about 2? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 8 and 10. How about 80? 80 divided by 5, sorry. 16. How about 80 divided by 4? 80 divided by 2? And 80 divided by 1? Okay. All the factors of 21. 1, 3, 7, and 21. Okay, and this is where you start to hate me right now. Yeah. We're going to comprehend together so I can read tomorrow. Step by step. Bring it with you, be ready to work. Okay, here we go. Are we ready? All of my P over Q. I'm going to take and divide each one of them by 1. So that gives me 1, 2, 4, 5, 8, 10, 16, 20, 40, 80. Yes? That one's done. Then what am I going to do? Divide them all by 3. So 1/3, 2/3, 4/3, 5/3, 8/3, 10/3, 16/3, 20/3, 40/3, 80/3. Now I did the 3s, so now what do? I go to the 7s. 1 7, 2 7, 4 7, 5 7, 8 7, 10 7, 16 7, 27, 47, 87.
I have read it before.
And the last one is 21. 1 over 21, 2 over 21, 4 over 21, 5 over 21, 8 over 21, 10 over 21, 16 over 21, 20 over 21, 40 over 21, and 80 over 21. Now, on the test, I will not be that mean. The P over Q values would be smaller, and they'll be much more understandable. But each one of them will be on a point on the test. Okay? But that's really not hard. Is it annoying? Yes. Is it hard? Those are like 3 points.
If I just have to say the P and Q's and there's all of those for each point, I'll do that.
Do you know how easy that is for points? Right? That's easy points. Right? Okay, so there's our P over Q. Now next, what do we do?
That's so long, I forgot.
Our B is Descartes. Positive roots. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to count the sign changes. 1, 2, 3, 4. I know, I was just showing everybody. So if n is 4, how many possible positive roots do I have? 4, 2, or 0? Why was it 4, 2, or 0? Because if n is 4, it's always n minus 2 until you get down to what number? 0, right? Okay, so now I have to do my negative roots. So I come back up here, and what do I have to calculate? F at negative x. And which powers change? So 21 stays, this changes, this stays, this changes, and this stays. So how many sign changes do I have on F at negative x? 0. So how many negative roots do I have? 0. So now I need to do my lovely little chart. Right? So how many possible positives? 4, 2, 0. How many negative? 0, 0, 0. How many total? 4, 4, 4. To give me how many imaginary? 0? And do you really think it's going to be the last case? No. So how do I figure out which case it's going to be? I come over here and I graph it. So I'm going to add a new page, and it's a graphical page, and I start typing in what I know. 21x to the 4th minus 68x cubed plus 270x squared minus 276. No one was going to tell me that. You guys like to see how far I get down. Plus 270x squared minus 276x plus 80. Now, you tell me, do I need to change my window?
Oh, yeah.
No. No. Because I can see that it crosses in 2 spots. And I'm going to highlight my lovely little x-axis here. And I'm going to make it so I can see it. Now, what do you think I need to do? Find the zeros. So menu, analyze 0, left, right. What is 0.667? 2/3. Menu, analyze 0, boom, boom. 0.571. Does anybody know that decimal on top of their head?
It's bigger than 1/2.
Bigger than 1/2, and it's smaller. It is 4/7. Now, what you need to do is go back to your P over Q values. So if you go back to your P over Q values, you know what you can do? Pay attention, guys. You can totally cross off all of these numbers because none of those matter. We got our 2/3. We know it's not 1/3, and we know it's not any of those. Right? And you know it's none of these ones. So you can simply say, now which one does it make sense for 0.57 to be a decimal for? Well, it's probably going to be in between here. Okay? Not at the 8, 7. It's going to be one of the 7s. Do we get that? Okay? So now whenever I come over here, okay? I'm looking for root 1, root 2, root 3, and root 4. Root 1, you guys already said was 2/3. What was root 2? 4/7. So what do you guys have to do? synthetic division, right? So you're going to do synthetic division at both of these numbers. 21, negative 68, 270, minus 276, and 80. When you do that, what degree will this be? Then you're going to do synthetic division at what value? 4/7. And what degree will that be? And after you do that, then what do you think you're going to have to do? Quadratic formula. Okay. Hey. You guys have Tuesday and Wednesday to get these two worksheets done for me. Okay?
That's all we're talking about.
Very sorry. You guys come back on Thursday. We're going to be going over as much as we possibly can, the rest of 2.5, and review and do questions. Have a great day.